It doesn't do what
The Clash of Clans team have been sharing information on the Builderbase 2.0 update across various social media platforms. I have condensed all of the answers, including the 6th builder, your progress, Builder Hall 10, into this one video, so you have everything you need to know. Let's actually message Darian and see if he can give us any secret information for this video. The first time we had anything meaningful on Builderbase 2.0 was from game lead Stuart in his blog post. This started out by saying that the redesign would happen in the first half of 2023. We typically have 4 updates a year, first being at the end of April, early May, and the second tends to be June time, but is often a small update. So we can assume it will be the first update of 2023, and that becomes a much better assumption based on some of the later information we received. But initially they explained what they liked and disliked about the Builderbase, which gives us a good gauge as to what is staying and what is going. On the positive side of things, the team liked the small tactical fun of the Builderbase, essentially small villages, and I would agree with this. I liked the early Builder Hall levels, brought back memories of the early Town Hall levels. Every single troop deployment and defense placement mattered. You also have the adapt and improvise area of the Builderbase, in that you can switch troops in that 30-second scout. Again, something I like. It is a unique aspect, so that's likely to stay. The other positive is that defense matters. Because of the PvP nature of Builderbase, one defense always happens when you attack. In the home village, often you might do 10 times the amount of attacks, so defense feels less important. Although they like that defense matters, they don't like the PvP element, and it is being removed with Builderbase 2.0. One of the justifications for this is that it's not very rewarding to play. You can get a 95% and lose, or a 40% attack and win. Kind of weird. On the same token, it's not convenient to play. Often you are sat waiting of your opponent. Yes, it is frustrating when they're using sneaky archers, and the loot system also limits you to 3 per day. You have to do an average of 6 attacks based on the PvP nature. We actually did receive answers on the loot system that I'll be explaining later, but the other negative in this initial blog post was that it is not fun once you progress to the higher Builder Hall levels. There's a lot of defenses, and it results in spammy style attacks, not the focused tactical fun that they want to hone in on. There was a lot of unanswered questions here that were later clarified in a Reddit AMA and a podcast appearance by Darian, but going through this in chronological order, the next piece of information was another blog post by Stuart focusing on the new attacking within Builderbase. Thinking about that focused tactical fun, they want to have fewer, stronger troops and make them feel more heroic. In terms of fewer troops, it seemed like most of them would have just 1 troop per slot, but this isn't the case for all of them. So they said their favorite was actually 4 raged barbarians in one of those slots. In the current Builderbase, you get 5 times that amount, so it seems the barbarian would be 5 times the strength. Fewer, stronger troops, and this leads to less spammy attacks. But in making the troops more heroic as well, they shared prototype gameplay of special troop abilities. They are testing exactly how you would trigger these. The gameplay shows just pressing them like a hero ability. They're testing whether you press the troop itself. I quite like pressing it like a hero ability, actually. The team said the intention on giving you troop abilities would be so that you could intervene mid-attack, because you don't get many troops to put on the board as it is, and there's no spells in the Builderbase in order to change the outcome of an attack mid-battle. Now, I quite like this. Again, I think each village should have its own unique identity, and I quite like that there's no spells in the Builderbase, but the active trigger abilities would give it some uniqueness. Now, I will say, looking at the gameplay, I'm not sure how overwhelming it might be to have all of the abilities constantly reloading. Maybe each troop you could only use their ability once, and then the battle machine, the hero, was what had the recurring ability. I don't know. I haven't played it, but the abilities themselves are really interesting. So in the gameplay, we can see a cannon cart switching to a mortar, so you have more range. The bomber switching to bounce the cannonball, much like a bowler. I'd maybe like to see the Super P.E.K.K.A have an ability similar to the Electro Titan with that pulsing damage. But back to the gameplay itself, they did explain that the artwork has not been changed. They essentially recycle artwork, just use what they currently have to test things out, and if it is fun and they're going to go down that route, then they will update the artwork. So just know this is his prototype, this is not what it would look like when it is finished. But at the end of this blog post, Stuart said, perhaps later we can give you information on why we weren't testing versus a Builder Hall 9 base. Now later in the Reddit AMA, it was confirmed that Builder Base 2.0 would be coming with Builder Hall 10. So they want focused tactical fun, smaller villages, and yet Builder Hall 10 is coming. Before I go over the answers they gave for Builder Hall 10, I found this one interesting where Darian talks about the 3 pillars of the game once Builder Base is redesigned, Builder Base, Home Village, and Clan Capital, and that they would look to cycle updates between these columns, much like they do every 18 months for Town Hall levels. So that maybe says to me that they're looking at a new Builder Hall level, a new Clan Capital district, and a new Town Hall every 18 months, i.e. every 6 months we would receive one of them. But I will say I would like the in-between updates to focus on the Home Village, because I do think that is the core aspect of the game. Back to Builder Hall 10 though. When this question was asked, Darian said that Stuart had explained it would likely come with Builder Base 2.0, and he later clarified in the Clash Files podcast that it was coming.
Our anticipated release timeline is within the first half of the year, and it will come with Builder Hall 10.
But Stuart's answer gave us a little more information. So he said, it makes sense to give new stuff for all players to work towards. So essentially, if you are a maxed Builder Hall 9, it does make sense to release Builder Hall 10, because then those players have a reason to check out the redesign if they can upgrade their Builder Hall. They did say with one of their responses that this update was to fix the core experience of the Builder Base, and then they would look at bringing more social aspects to it and interlinking with other areas of the game. When we think about the core experience, obviously they've touched upon the attacking, focused tactical fun, but also the loot system. This is where they clarified this. So the 3 loot limit is being removed. It is not enjoyable, and it's not flexible for people either. It was later expanded that it would be more similar to the Home Village. Not similar, but more similar than it was, in that there would be freedom in how much you play and earn your loot. So whilst we don't have concrete answers on how we will earn the loot yet, it's good that they're scrapping that. And by the way, they did mention that sceneries is something they're looking to implement with Builder Base 2.0 as well. Thumbs up from me, because I really like the customization in Clash. The 6th builder. This is what most people were questioning. Do I still work towards the 6th builder now? Am I going to keep it? There would be a lot of unhappy Clashers if they removed it. No. I would not be happy. But they have confirmed, and they kind of escalated the answer. The first one was that the 6th builder would stay. However, the tasks to unlock it would be a bit more generalized, because they didn't like how you had to rush to get those specific tasks. Because let's be honest, we all did. Darian later responded by saying they didn't plan on removing content people had unlocked for the Builder Base. So a bit more of a general answer, but then in the Pineapples and Thorns podcast said that
we aren't removing anybody's progress.
So not just the content you had unlocked, your actual progress as well. But then Builder Hall 10 is coming. So it just leaves a lot of excitement for me, especially because he said there would be new features and mechanics yet to be revealed. He's responded. Come find out for yourself.
Yo. See you, Trudeau, in the next video.